I'm not sure how closely people have been reading the content modules that I've been assigning, so I want to take a look at a couple of examples that appear in the module called Thesis Statements and Paragraph Structure. So I'm going to open it up and I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom to where it says Sample Student Paragraphs. This gives you a page. These are actual student paragraphs from a class out of the past, no one in our class, to be clear, on a topic we're not even doing this semester. So I'm not picking on anybody in our class, and in fact, I'm not picking it on anybody at all, because these are pretty good examples of how to put together a paragraph that uses details from your own interpretation or analysis in addition to details from evidence that you've gotten from research. And I want to make sure you looked at this earlier on, and if you didn't, that's okay. Please look at it now. It's a good model for how to put such a variety of different information together in a way that makes sense. And it's also a good reminder that when you're doing your citations for any information from outside research, you need to have a citation within the paragraph in your essay, and that should match up to the citation that you have, the full citation that's on your works cited page at the end of your essay. It's a two-part system. It's not just one or the other. You have to have both in order to avoid plagiarizing information. And keep in mind, all this information is there for the benefit of your readers. Readers may be curious about where you got information, and they might like to look something up and read it for themselves. And so you're really just pointing them to where they need to go. So as we look at this first paragraph, we can see that it opens with a claim. In this case, it's about a psychology writer named Philip Zimbardo and how individuals' behavior is affected by a certain category of things. Again, I'm not going to get into it because we haven't read this piece, but you'll notice that it's about the complexity of Art's feelings towards his father. And then the student dives into detail about Art, the writer, and his father, Vladek, which you would know if you had read the work that these students read. And they go into defining the hierarchy of their relationship, gives the readers some features about their relationship, their habits, how it works, etc. And one thing I sort of object to in this paragraph is that there aren't any parenthetical references to where the citation has come from. I mean, I'm not going to assume that every person is generally familiar with the graphic novel called Maus. And so because of that, this person really needed to put some citations to the research. But they didn't, and that's okay. They learned better and did it well the next time. Paragraph 2 does it a little better. So again, this person starts off with a claim. It happens to be presented as a quotation. I think it's a little bit stronger if you present a claim in your own words, but it does work to do this. So this author makes a claim. It's in quotation marks. It has a page number at the end. That's telling the reader that this is from Zimbardo's work, page 11. We don't have to repeat the author's name because it appears within the sentence. And then again, you notice they're using the they say, I say move, explaining what it means. They've used different words, what this breaks down into, but that's what they're doing. They're using that rhetorical move out of our textbook. They go into detail about it and conclude by saying that the posters reinforce the opening point. Okay, so that's a good paragraph strategy. The last paragraph is possibly the best one as far as handling the sources. She starts off with, again, a claim that situations like the Holocaust can have a huge effect on individuals' behavior. Again, you can see she uses the textbook template. I agree with Zimbardo when he writes, and she has a quotation mark. Again, the parentheses mean this quote appears on page 8 of the work. Zimbardo's work is going to also appear on the works cited page. So that's what I mean by saying it's a two-part system. As we go on, we see that she uses another source in the same paragraph. That's allowed. And it's a quote, again, from the comic book Mouse, again, page 83. Now, here she should have used the author's last name, not the title of the book. But that's okay. Again, it's a small mistake. She was able to correct this on the next essay in the class. I just wanted to point that out really quick. There's two things going on in each of these paragraphs. There's some decent handling of how to include outside research. Now, one thing I want everybody to keep in mind, the samples here are using quotations from the original works, but you can put them in your own words. In other words, you can paraphrase them instead of using quotes. You can summarize a great deal of information. That's also putting it into your own words, but making it a lot shorter. Even if you're paraphrasing and summarizing, you still want to have that parenthetical citation. In fact, it's even more important that you have it, because if you don't have the quotation marks and you don't have the page number or some reference to the author's that it's from an author, the reader's going to have no idea where this information came from, and they might even assume that it's your own idea, and that's going to be a really serious issue of plagiarizing. So just keep in mind, any piece of information that you use that is not out of your own head, that you got from somewhere else, that's going to need a citation. That's going to need a page number, the author's last name, something else if you don't happen to have that information, but something to point readers to a source that appears on your works cited page. There's a section about how to do those, how to format those properly in the other module about research, but I want everybody to come and read these paragraph samples carefully, either for the first time or again, and really think about them. Think about how they're put together as paragraphs. Think about how the evidence is incorporated into each sample. And I think that will really help you make some improvements to your own paragraphs in the upcoming essay.